You know, I knew we were in a lot of trouble when people started posting those out of context statistics that say that only 2% of men accused of sexual crimes end up serving any jail time. I knew that some story had just dropped that showed a woman clearly and obviously falsely accusing somebody. However, I didn't know what exactly went down and the consequences that the man actually suffered. For those of you who haven't heard the story of Matt Araiza, aka the Punt God, you are about to be filled in, you are about to be informed, you are about to learn how a mob of media in combination with a wrongful accuser who obviously was seeking money in a civil suit combined to destroy one of the greatest punting talents in NFL history's career just based on the allegations. But before we get into that, this video is sponsored, so let me toss it or punch it to the sponsor, then we'll bring it back over here and we'll talk about it on the other side. Collagen has been referred to as the modern day fountain of youth, and it's easy to understand why. Supplementing with this powerful nutrient can help restore the glow in your skin, thicken up your hair, and deal with issues in your nails. And the collagen powder that I trust, that I recommend to you, is over at healthwithjustice.com. It's got 5 different types of this key nutrient to help you restore that youthful glow, fix your brittle nails, and your thinning hair. And for members of my audience, guess what? 51% off if you go to healthwithjustice.com. That's 51% off. Get this deal before it's gone. So I have to be honest, I didn't have a lot of context for Matt Araiza, although I will watch NFL football from time to time. I'm not one of those guys who's obsessed with college football or obsessed with prospects. But to give you an idea of how talented this person is, here's some video clip of him dropping a 80-plus yard punt from inside the 10, just so you know, this man's got some power under his foot.
6th round draft pick, his first punt today. And it's a big one. Wow, look at this, to the 15, and it's a touchback. I mean,
there's an 82-yard punt.
And that's not a one-off. There's also a video of Araiza punting a ball basically to the moon in OTAs, aka organized teamed activities, aka what was formerly known as practice but needs a new updated name to make you interested in it. And it's kind of unreal just how good this man is at punting the football. And it's one of the reasons why he was actually drafted in the NFL draft. Most punters end up going as undrafted free agents. It was the 6th round, but still. And the Bills ultimately ended up offering him a $4 million contract as a rookie, which, by the way, pretty impressive for a rookie, especially at the punter position. So you have Araiza, who was named the starting punter in his NFL team, the Buffalo Bills. Everything was looking up. People were in awe of punting, of all things, in the NFL. By the way, special teams, totally underrated. And it seemed like everything was on the upswing. He went from superstar at San Diego State to the NFL. The Bills were on the upswing as a team. The stars were aligning for Araiza to become a star in the NFL. However, unbeknownst to many of us in the general public, but the Bills did know about it, Araiza was actually accused of participating in a sexual assault. In fact, it was a group sexual assault, and allegedly, according to the complaint, Araiza, after having intercourse with this woman, decided it would be a good idea to bring her into a room where she was thrown down onto a bed and assaulted by 20 different men. So essentially, what ended up going down is that weird version of allegations that we got from that other accuser, the one that wasn't Christine Blasey Ford, but this was an NFL version of it, or a college version that turned into an NFL story. However, the Bills investigated this, and they decided it was worth the risk to bet on Araiza, so they ended up drafting him, and all those things ended up happening. But once he was drafted, once he started getting some notoriety in the preseason, the accuser decided it would be a good idea to file a civil suit against him, where she alleged a bunch of crazy, ridiculous things, and that, of course, was run with by the press. She was interviewed.
New details today in the story of a young woman accusing an NFL kicker and 2 of his former college teammates of her. Her lawyer is now sharing this exclusive video with Inside Edition of the woman showing her injuries. Jim Murray has our report, and we warn you, some viewers may find the details upsetting.
It looked really bad for Matt Araiza.
It's the first video of the bruising Jane Doe says she suffered at the hands of former Buffalo Bills punter Matt Araiza and 2 of his college teammates. She says she took the video the day after the alleged gang. at a Halloween party at this house near San Diego State University. Here she is in costume that night.
He took me into the room and I was pushed onto the bed face first.
Which makes sense that it would look bad for Araiza because most of these outlets didn't even bother to get Araiza's side of the story. They just went with the allegations for somebody who was filing a civil suit against an NFL football player who recently signed a $4 million contract. No need for skepticism there. Just believe and repeat and broadcast multiple different stations, national news, ESPN, all the craziest versions of the allegations, and talk about how horrible the Bills are for deciding to take a chance on this individual. And this ultimately led to Araiza being cut from the team, and it turns out that the accuser lost the civil suit. But to be clear, this isn't one of those instances where Araiza just scraped by the skin of his teeth. He just was able to get around civil liability in this crime that definitely happened. This was proven out in the civil case, and it was actually the reason why the criminal case was never charged, to be completely false and felonious accusations. And Matt Araiza's role in this whole instance was non-existent. It turns out that by videotape and by the timing as told to us by the accuser, Araiza was not even present at the party where this assault would have occurred. So the idea that Araiza led this woman to a bedroom where she was thrown down and assaulted by up to 20 men cannot possibly be true based on the fact that he was not present. He was gone. He was not there. So his NFL career was completely torched based on allegations that were leveled against him and two other players that had no merits, and the criminal court knew it had no merits, which is why after a 10-month investigation reviewing countless hours of videotape, witness testimony, and all of that, they decided not to charge. Now, what's even worse about this instance is that it's not like this was a thing that definitely happened, but the girl just saw Matt Araiza earlier in the day, and she inadvertently, due to the drug-induced whatever, pinned the incident on him. No, that's not the case. By all of the accounts, what we ended up finding out was that this girl at this party consented to multiple encounters and was actually going around the party demanding that different people sleep with her and calling them the F slur for gay people if they refused to do so. On top of that, we have video recordings according to a 200-page document that was obtained by Yahoo News, which is the investigator's document, of her exiting the room after each of these individual encounters, or a certain amount of these individual encounters, talking about what she just did, smiling about it, talking about how much she enjoyed it, and then picking another dude and going back to do the same. So the idea that she was unaware of what was going on, the idea that she was just thrown down on a bed and for an hour and a half she was assaulted, is just not the case. She quite literally was soliciting these encounters one by one by one by one, but again, the main person that was being accused, the person that headlined this lawsuit and all of that, was not present at this point in time at this event, so he should not have been cut from his team. And by the way, the Bills had a pretty good idea he was innocent. They just decided that they were going to cut him due to the nature of the allegations that they had strong suspicions were completely false. And the local news, absolutely disgusting. They would show images of her clothes saying, oh my god, it's bloody around the crotch area, this is horrible, this girl was just assaulted, it's so terrible, but not even again decide to question the investigators, seek out more information, or at least hold judgment before giving a platform to somebody who is filing a financial civil suit against an NFL player who just signed a major contract. They just assumed that she was being truthful and that every single person involved in law enforcement and at the university, despite the fact that universities are overwhelmingly tilted towards women and tilted towards guilty until proven innocent in these type of instances, just decided that they were okay with all 20 of these evil men just being on the campus in perpetuity. It's absolutely absurd that they ran with this, yet you saw Araiza being attacked time after time after time, and the Bills being attacked because how dare you draft somebody that you knew was innocent when you could have allegations that come out that sound really bad, even though you as a team, you as an organization, know they're completely false.
Bleeding on my legs, I had blood on my face, my costume was covered in blood.
Today, we're also seeing her diary entries from the day after, which her lawyer says bolster her credibility. I have no idea how long I was even in there or how many guys had sex with me, she wrote. All I keep replaying in my mind is being face down in a random bed, just waiting for it to be over.
Now, unfortunately, we can't know the name of the accuser, and this is because she was 17 at the time of the encounter. Now, some people are going to say, oh, well, she was underage. In the state of California, the age of consent is actually 18. However, I want to point out that in most states in the union, it's 16, followed by 17, and then an 18, so it's not unusual for this to be a perfectly legal consensual encounter. On top of that, she was repeatedly telling people that she just turned 18, so she was lying about her age. On top of that, the oldest person accused in this ridiculous false allegation appears to be, from my reading, around the age of 22. So what we're talking about is a 5-year gap. I know a lot of you like to play games like 17 is the same as a baby, but no, that is not the case. That is ridiculous. That is absurd. And I happen to be 5 years older than my fiance, so I am not put off by that age gap. This is a girl who lied about her age, solicited all the encounters. The fact that she was 8 days away from being 18 or 14 days or a month or two means absolutely nothing to me. She chose to sneak into that party. She chose to act the way that she did. Then she falsely accused the men that she consensually slept with of a aggravated gang rape. And then, when she saw one of those men succeeding in life, who, by the way, could not have participated in said aggravated gang rape, she decided to file a civil suit, go on TV, give all these interviews under the cover of anonymity just to destroy this person's career. And by the way, she kept emphasizing Araiza's career throughout her interviews and how he should have never been drafted.
Matt getting cut from the team definitely was a boost for me. I was really starting to feel hopeless.
Araiza's accuser speaking out in her first ever TV interview with our sister station in San Diego, saying she feels Araiza should have never made it to an NFL team given the serious accusations against him.
Of course, I do wish that something was done sooner. I wish that he was never drafted, but that is just how it is. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible.
Now, I find this obnoxious for a number of reasons. First and foremost, the reason she's suing him is because he was drafted in the NFL and because he signed a $4 million contract. So she wants to get the money from him as compensation for her bad behavior on the night in question, even though, again, do I need to say it? He was not there. He was gone from this party about an hour and a half, according to the reports, before she alleged any of this encounter would have happened. So, wasn't there, wasn't present. The only reason she's suing him is because he signed that $4 million contract, yet she emphasizes over and over again in all her interviews that it's a shame that the Buffalo Bills drafted him, because not only is she trying to extract as much money as humanly possible from this guy, she wants to maximize her victimhood by pretending that the NFL or the Buffalo Bills are these evil patriarchy. Oh my God, they're participating in the culture, so please give me the money.
Give me the money. Give me the money, okay?
And also make sure this guy never plays another game in the NFL.
The bottom line is he was a member of the Bills. And once he was a member of your organization, and this came to light, you were supposed to act immediately. This isn't something that you can buy your way out of. You can sit up there and have a civil suit against you and settle the damn case. It's not going to stop the district attorney out there from coming for you, because these are charges. Yeah. And then when you hear the details
are extremely disturbing. And I want to say one thing, and I was grateful that you had sent me the CBS News interview because I hadn't seen it. I saw ABC World News prior. Her father spoke out, but the victim obviously speaking out. And Stephen A., obviously I'd read the details in our ESPN article, but seeing the visuals, the bruises all over her legs, the bruises on her neck being held down for 90 minutes. I won't go further into the details. It's a morning show. They're very disturbing, and it's only if people. But a lot of times when we talk about, hey, no one's there, he said, she said. I mean, they have the visual evidence as well.
Listen, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Yeah. Listen, when the district attorney is saying we're looking into this because we did not know, and now that we know this, we're looking into this. He's in a world of trouble because let me tell you, they didn't happen by accident. They didn't happen by accident. Okay, something happened to that young lady. Yeah. And it's clear. And the fact that she is a gang. Yeah. Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking imprisonment.
These clips are complete and utter garbage. The nonsense being spewed by ESPN hosts, local news hosts, and just the irresponsible platforming of allegations that the police decided not to charge does not make any sense. But the fact that law enforcement, by the way, all these videos are in and around August of 2022, knew that this was fake and didn't release some information to indicate this, to help this guy out as he's being destroyed in the press, as his talent is going to go to waste because his career is being ripped away when they knew it was false, also makes me really angry. I understand some confidentiality related to an investigation, but obviously they leaked this 200-page report, or somebody leaked this 200-page report to Yahoo News so we can find out about it now. It really would have helped, especially when you knew you weren't going to charge this case because it was false, if you would have done this back when he was cut and missed this whole entire NFL season. It's just tragic that this happened to this guy, especially based on such frivolous allegations. And again, even if you want to say, oh, maybe she was too drunk and all these guys she consented to, but you know, the little bit of too much alcohol involved or whatever, I have to emphasize again, the Punt God punted being present at this party. He was not there. The distance on him punting on this situation was overwhelming, which is why law enforcement cleared him first among many other people to be cleared. So it's just absurd that this happened. It's tragic. And for all those people who say, oh, false allegations never ruin anybody's lives, look at Matt Araiza, look at the Duke Lacrosse boys, which we covered on this channel. It is so easy for the press to paint the narrative of the privileged white athlete and try to tear him down in an instance, even though everything that's being brought to them is incredibly suspicious. Hey guys, Editing Sean here. Now I know I just threw out the maybe she was too drunk kind of defense, but that was just me saying a thing that is normally said. It's actually clarified multiple different times in this 200-page report, including with testimony from her own friends that went to the party with her, that she did not seem even remotely intoxicated by the time that these encounters started. So her friends can't tell that she's even drunk, and those are the people who largely back her in other regards. So I know I threw that out there, but I just want to make sure that you guys know that's not really something that's under dispute. That's something that's pretty much resolved, and it doesn't cut in her direction. Now I know a lot of you are going to say, you know what, they need to criminally charge her with filing a false police report, and the sentence should match the sentence that Matt Araiza would have gotten had he been wrongly convicted of this crime, and that's a great thing for you to say. That's a nice sentiment. I hope you feel better expressing that. Let me shatter that worldview by letting you know that filing a false police report in the state of California is a misdemeanor, not a felony, and because she was under the age of 18, she will likely be charged as a juvenile because this is not one of those felonies that is eligible to be charged as an adult. So let me explain to you what's going to happen to her. Nothing. She might get a tiny slap on the wrist, but in reality, she definitely won't. On top of that, she gets to remain anonymous as she continues to trash, double down on these lies, all these other people that were at this party at this point in time. That's what's going to happen to this. There may be a happy ending if Araiza ends up signing with somebody else, if he ends up having a successful NFL career, but other than that, you're not going to get any justice for this. Other than that, you're not going to see any consequences for this accuser. That is not how it works. That is not where we're going with this story. You can LARP about it all you want, but it is what it is. She's gonna get away scot-free. Now that I've broken your little itty-bitty baby hearts, I just want to say that's all I really have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, show me by leaving a like. You can subscribe for more content. You can follow me on all my social medias. They're linked in the description of this video. It's amazing. You can support me via the support links, also linked in the description of this video. This has been me talking about Punt God being taken down. Till next time. I guess it's sacrilegious if you take down a god.